Is this the best place to do buy, refurbish, refinance? Today I'm viewing 2 properties in this area to see why this is the hotspot for property investors. And the 2 properties that I'm here to see are Matt's properties. Matt, welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming and being here. And I've also brought along Dan. Dan is on my Property X program. He is also looking to invest in this area. So today he's joining us to have a look around these houses.
Picked up the keys start of August,
Yeah.
so there has been a few delays, so we're 6 weeks in now. Normally we would expect it to be plastered all by now, but a few delays, buildings like COVID. Also some of the walls are worse condition than we initially thought, so we had to hack them off, do some damp treatment, which we'll see around a part of the property.
Is that what that is as we come in
Yes.
always? So you've had to literally take all that back?
Hack it off, do the chemical treatment, and then also put some sand cement on there as well.
Right.
And then we start boarding up like you can see around here. And then skin.
Is that because it doesn't have a damp proof course at all?
Yes, there was
Right.
there was literally that, and potential for it to obviously get worse again in the long term, and so we just wanted to do the whole thing properly. That cost us another £600 as well.
Okay.
But obviously,
Too bad?
No, not too bad. And obviously, when we go around all the costs,
You
it still
start
stacks.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah.
when you start with a 6, I think you say £6,000 or something.
Thankfully not. Thankfully not. No, yeah.
But I've always wondered that about like Wales properties, because having followed a few other people that invest here, like you see everyone going back to brick, and I'm like, is that because there's a lot of damp issues, or what is it?
Yeah, I mean, this is only my second property in South Wales that I've worked on.
Yes.
And a lot of them are mining houses.
Yeah.
So very old school. Some haven't been looked after properly, but generally a lot of them do need damp works and corrections. So it's not too, but nothing too major. So far, touch wood, it's been all right.
Sure, everyone's dying to know the numbers. Purchase price?
61.5.
Decent. What was it listed for?
This was on. I think it was on for 67.5. So we've taken a little bit of a chunk out. Yeah. Because it's obviously priced at the bottom of the market.
Yeah.
That is what, about 5, 6, 7% off. So it's,
no, that's good. I think.
Exactly.
But it's not unrealistic for someone to see, to see something at 67 and get it for 61.
Exactly. I've sort of got one living room here.
Yeah.
Or slash maybe a dining room, and then a second living room slash dining room here. Or we did think about just making this one big room, but in the end we decided, we spoke to the estate agent, and they were like, a lot of people who rent here do like having 2 sort of separate rooms. Okay. So we kept it like that. So yeah, through here we have the bathroom, probably my least favourite part of the house. Obviously you want to add value, but it's a bit hidden. And we didn't think about moving it upstairs, but just for cost, we decided to keep it downstairs. So you go in.
Presumably all the pipe work's all there and everything, isn't it?
Yes, so we've had a bit of first fix plumbing done. You can see this is the first house where I'm not going to put a bath in. You can see when the cameraman goes in, you can see where the bath used to be.
That's a small bath.
It is a small bath. So it's just going to be a walk-in shower. Make it nice, walk-in shower. Obviously toilet, sink. Leave it there.
That's all right though, isn't it? I think that's good.
Exactly.
I think it's a good use of space.
Exactly, yeah.
So, what else could it be, really?
Exactly, and the good thing is, the general expectation for South Wales properties is bathrooms can be downstairs without having one upstairs, so that's fine. Yeah. And it won't affect the value too much.
A majority of my houses up north are downstairs, and depends who you ask. Obviously, I would obviously prefer one upstairs. Of course, Most people I talk to prefer them upstairs. But I've also had that conversation with tenants in the north when I've been up there and stuff. Yeah. And they're like, oh no, I love it. Have my friends around, they can just walk in and out, and I don't have to worry about tidying my rooms up. And I literally had never thought about it like that. Yeah, so I was like,
exactly. I mean, if that's their preference, then it suits me. We go from there.
I don't find it affects the value. Really.
No, exactly. And whilst you could have added the second one, it would have cost a lot more and probably not got that uplift in value as well. This is a 3-bed, so when we go up there, you'll see 3 decent sizes, I think, for here anyway.
Refurb, obviously, there's a lot going on. You've taken it back to brick. You've mentioned you're doing all the damp work. You're extending into the kitchen. Extending the kitchen into the outbuilding. What's the refurb going to come in at? Okay, so initial quote was 34,000. We have had a couple of variations. So like I mentioned, the hacking off the walls, a bit of extra damp treatment, and also we're leveling off some of the flooring and ceiling. So in total, that's come up just under £35,500. Okay, good. Okay, I mean, I think that's still good value for money considering the amount that's going into it. So,
100%.
Do you know roughly how much all in with like fees, stamp duty?
So what's that? So I think it's roughly 100 grand. So that's including the like you said, the land tax and also the building survey as well. That's quite important to get those for these kind of houses. Yeah. So we're roughly looking at just over 100 grand, I think, including with the variations. The main talking point on this property was this wall right here. As you can see, there's this is where the kitchen was, and it's a bit small. So the idea was that if we took this out, then we'd be able to have like an L-shaped kitchen along here. It wasn't that easy because what we'd need is an RSJ. And that was, we're a bit nervous about that because we weren't sure how much it would cost. Obviously this is a terrace building. We had heavy brick walls on the upstairs as well, so that would have been needed the support. If it was a flip, 100% would have done it.
For the better finish.
Yes, for a better finish, bigger kitchen. But for a rental, we decided just to cut the cost. Probably saved us between the realms of 3 to 4.5 grand, I reckon. With an RSJ, sometimes it's less, but there were some variables we didn't know about, so we decided let's just keep it simple. Also, would have taken like another month as well, so decided let's just do it.
That is a thick wall.
Oh yeah, you can straight away tell. This is supporting the whole house.
It is a bit of almost a gamble with something of this age. Do you unearth more issues by doing that?
Exactly. Yeah. And we were just thinking just for a rental, but we have come up with like a creative solution to get around this. So when we go into here, this is the kitchen, and it is quite small right now on its own. Yeah. We are going to change this up, obviously, make it a bit more nice, and have a lot of natural light coming in. This will be chipped up a bit. Taking the bricks off, again, make it a bit more open. Yeah. But the main change here is, okay, so what we're going to do, what the builder's done, is we're going to literally change this whole shed here. So right now it looks a complete dump, which it is. But we're going to make a corridor between here and into here. This roof will be cleared out and raised. And then we'll literally make like a storage unit in here. So we'll probably have the washing machine. I think we had the washing machine going out. I'll have to double check that because obviously you need the pipe work, but at least the electric, so probably a big fridge, freezer kind of thing, so that someone can come in here, get all their stuff, maybe have a pantry, and then use the kitchen units in here.
More just oven and units then, which is
exactly
better, isn't it?
Exactly.
Access to the garden, there'll be a door to the left.
Oh yeah, great point. So we'll have the door literally right here. Then we did change some ideas, perhaps making this window smaller, and connecting it there, but in the end it was easier just to put a door right here, corridor here, and then just completely change this roof on the shed because that was the most cost effective.
End value?
So we had estate agents come round. We're looking at top end probably 130. If we're not so lucky, maybe 120. Obviously this is changing market. It's September right now. But what we found is that the properties at the lower end of the market, this is like nationwide by the way, are a bit more resilient than some of the more expensive houses. I mean, as you know, because folks that wanted a 200 grand house, they're now applying for a mortgage, and it's now a lot more expensive, so they're being forced to go down basically. So there's more people going for the lower end houses because those that were going for the cheaper houses are still going for those houses. So more demand, obviously. And then the other reason as well is because the rental market's so insane, a lot of first time buyers are getting really fed up of paying the high rentals, and it's actually almost cheaper for them to get these more expensive mortgages and get on the market, if they can get the deposit of course, than it is to keep on renting. So that's those two reasons are why South Wales properties, I believe, are staying quite resilient, and we're quite confident we're going to hit this 130. Basically, we didn't anticipate having to redo all of this wall. We wanted just board it from the start, but we had to hack it all off and then put sand cement on there and then go from there basically.
And why is the sand cement, why are you adding that? Just so anyone
it's part of the damp treatment course basically. If I'm honest, I don't know too much myself. I just followed the bullet points in the report, but it's what they do afterwards just to seal it up, I guess. Maybe I'll do more background reading.
No, it's interesting because it's like typically like North or Yorkshire, it's either damp proof course or it's like tanking.
Yes, tanking,
which is quite common. But and when the damp proof courses often fails, they're not that great. So but anything like underground is always going to be tanking. But to see it all the way up here is quite amazing.
It is, yeah, and like you said, there has you jigged my memory. There has been tanking on all this bit down here, where up to perhaps.
So underneath that,
yes, that's all been tanked. Yeah. That's
good.
part of the treatment.
That should see you through for like many decades.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. So the room sizes are exactly the same, but we've done a few changes. First thing, the door was here. Now we've moved it to here.
Okay, which is better, isn't it?
Exactly. This was actually one of those storage closets.
Oh right here. Yeah. So taking that out.
Take it out, a bit more space. We did try looking at maybe incorporating it as part of the room. Decided not to in the end, because it's all right size. It's
good size.
Plastered one wall, skimmed one wall already. That's they've just started. They're in now, doing that, and this another week, and this will all be sorted. Windows are okay, double glazed, a bit old fashioned. We'll change the crisscross pattern, but apart from that.
Another question for you,
yeah,
and partly for the video is like, why did you choose, or why did the builders choose, to board it out rather than like bond and plaster? Was it because the walls are completely screwed?
Partly that, partly because of the walls, and that was what a lot of the houses around here are used to, that kind of treatment.
Yeah,
and
whilst quicker, I think
it's quicker as well. Whilst the builders will obviously give me a choice. They're used to looking this way, and I just let them take that initiative and run with it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the builder, because
I'd really like to.
Definitely one of the main reasons for the success of the previous project, and hopefully this one as well.
So 130 end value is really good.
Yeah.
And what I always say, when you're doing BRR, the bigger the gap between the money you're spending, all the money going in, versus what the end value is, the better, isn't it?
Exactly.
So you should, I don't know, I'm guessing here, what will that be, like 10,000 left in, or less than that?
So if it's 100 grand or just over, let's just say 100 grand to keep it simple, and it gets valued at 130. Don't know what that was.
That's a chicken, I think.
So if the property gets valued at 130, and we spent 100 grand, just to keep it simple, we pull out a 75% loan to value mortgage. That would mean the lender gives us 97.5, which effectively means the property will be 2.5 grand.
Left in.
If it gets valued at 120, it's still not a disaster. It's still a good deal in my eyes. That means we would take out 75%, which is 90k, and again, that's 10 grand left in. Still think that's a good deal.
Yeah.
In terms of rental, if I talk about rental, we've been told between 750. 775. The market's just been crazy. That's not really news. And then to borrow that much right now will probably cost you in the realms of 450. That's today's market price.
So 450 is your monthly interest-only mortgage. 775 is hopefully your rent.
Just around 300, 325 maybe. So you can tell for this one as well. We're almost finished skimming.
Yeah.
You can it's still drying, but another decent sized double.
Good actually.
Yeah, it's about the same size as the one next door. Yeah. So generally these are decent sized rooms for houses around here. As you'll see for the next project we go to, we've got some small rooms in there.
Do you have any rules, like the amount of sockets, the amount of lights?
Generally you would do about 2-3 sockets per room.
Yeah.
And we just keep it lights in here, and then spotlights in the kitchen, unless there's natural lighting like there is down there.
Yeah.
And spotlights in the living room as well. That's generally the rule.
Cool. Spotlights look good, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Worth doing. I learnt the sockets the hard way.
Yeah.
I did not like a full refurb like this, but a fairly sizable refurb.
Yeah.
Didn't add extra sockets into the bedroom. Yeah. And that was one of the it was just an amateur mistake, right?
Oh,
One of the first ones. So then had to add them in after, because the tenant was like, there's only one double socket.
There's only one, yeah.
So just really wasn't thinking, was like trying to get the project moving quickly. So you only do those sort of ones.
Exactly, and it's such an easy one to. When you're doing first fix, it's so easy just having up there, chuck a hole in there and a bit of first fix electrics, and you're done really. So one there. Don't know where the bed will go yet. That's up to the tenant probably.
Yeah. The windows are quite big but low, aren't they?
Yes, that's another common part of it. It's a bit weird. If it was being built today, they'd obviously be a bit higher, but at least there's a lot of light and don't have to do any maintenance to it, so that's good. We'll leave it as it is. Last thing to mention is this is actually a JV project.
Yep.
So I actually met. So I went to electrician school, doing my level 1, and I met a guy there, and we got talking, and he was literally more interested in doing property than electrics, and so we spent the rest of the course just talking about that. So we went in 50-50. This was great because this was happening about 4 months ago, when there was, 3 months ago, when there was a lot of noise in the media about property prices.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do this just because it basically literally halves your risk, because we're going half and half in. So we knew that if things went really bad, then say it got valued at 110 and we were only able to pull out 85, 82 and a half, whatever, then that's only half left in each. So it would be effectively 9 grand. I'm doing figures top of my head here, so excuse me if
roughly.
There's anyone watching at home with a calculator, then sorry. Then obviously your risk is literally halved, so we were quite happy with that. This was his first property. Obviously I've got some experience, so we were happy to work together. I like to JV because it means you can scale quicker. Of course you're getting half the return, but you're getting another property under your belt that's going to appreciate in value. And I think for half the risk, to get another one under the belt, we can also share some of the workload in terms of doing visits together. It's totally worth it.
It's the enjoyment. Sometimes it's actually the element of camaraderie and enjoyment that you can do it with someone. It's not such a lonely journey.
Exactly.
There's obviously downsides, and you've got to be careful who you invest with, and kind of make sure you like them, because you're going to be kind of joining a relationship with them for the next 20 years.
Exactly.
But I also think there is that enjoyment factor. Otherwise, you come and you do it on your own. You're like, who do I share it with? And,
I mean, I'm lucky. You might watch this, so Danny, thank you. I love working with you. But he's been great to work with. We've had no qualms as of yet. He's generally been quite, because of my experience, he's just let me kind of lead the way, and then obviously he puts in his 2 cents. And this has been a great JV experience, and I think a lot of people should really consider them just to get into the market.
Third bed?
Yep, third bedroom again, halfway through skimming. You'll get a good look at the garden in a second as well. Boiler looks a bit rough. It's not too bad.
That was already here?
Yes, this was already here.
Who owned it before?
This was literally someone that lived there all their whole life.
Oh,
probate property.
Next door have done a good job of the garden, haven't they?
Yeah, we've got some inspiration for next door.
Yeah.
But it's really strange how, because obviously it comes up quite high quite quickly. Like we could literally walk up there and walk on that, but that will be part of the new kitchen. Because I still can't really picture what the garden looks like when this is all cleared out, because it's so
difficult to
tell, isn't it? But some people, when they're doing a BRR or any flip or renovation, like to do the full garden. For my rentals now, I tend to not spend too much money on them, because a lot of the time I find tenants don't care, or if they do care, they like the project themselves. So I just give them a blank canvas.
Got it. I imagine that's majority is concrete underneath.
Yeah, literally concrete.
Clear it and leave it.
Exactly. Yeah.
After itself, after it's been cleared.
Exactly, and they can do what they want. If they stay here for the long term, they can do whatever whatever they want, and go from there. And obviously, the first major rehaul is doing this whole kitchen bit here, and obviously replacing the glass here. But the roof's pretty decent, Nick, as well.
It's looking good. How many weeks do you reckon?
The builder says 8. I personally reckon maybe 8 to 10. Just because of the slight delays we've had. If we didn't have that the kitchen bit there, I think you would easily do 8, but I think that's going to take a little bit of extra work. I mean, to be honestly, once they finish skimming and plastering,
suddenly come together, won't it?
It comes quite quickly, as you know, and then you've got second fix, painting, carpentry, etc. And then honestly, because of the builder, they're so good, very quick, and they're hungry. They're hungry for as much work as possible, and they understand that if they finish one property quickly, they'll get another one. So I'm all too happy to...
That's a great relationship to build with the builders. So.
Yeah, exactly. One more thing I want to mention as well, another reason we went for these cheaper houses is we could afford to do this without a bridging loan. And that's obviously a bit of a luxury. Not everyone can afford to do that, but obviously with these tighter margins, with materials going up, labour going up, prices potentially coming down. Not having that bridging loan, which would have cost anywhere between 3 to 6 grand, was a really nice point to make sure
it's a nice
to get our margins in.
Because otherwise, that's just pure money left in, additional money left in. So if you're gonna do this, you get the 130, maybe you only leave 2.5 grand in. That would have quickly become 8.5 grand.
Exactly.
Or, 7.5 grand if you had a bridging cost on top.
Exactly. So. We just wanted to feel out the market. Over these uncertain times. And as of right now, there has obviously been a decrease, but it's been there's been no crash yet. We'll see how that goes, basically.
Good. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
On to the next one.
On to the next one.
So So yeah, we're just entering the second house, and with this property, it's finished, ready to go. Am I right in thinking you've already let this one, but obviously they've not moved in yet?
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
We agreed tenancy last week.
Brilliant.
And it's just reference checks. And also I've got to do my landlord exam, which is something you have to do in Wales.
Let's talk about that quickly whilst we're here.
Yeah.
So if you are a landlord in Wales and you self-manage,
yeah,
you've got to do an exam.
Yes, it sounds really like difficult, but it's actually just going through all the basic legislation and rules you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
But that you should really be aware of anywhere in the UK, but it's just here they formally ask you to show your understanding of that, and then you take a quick multiple choice exam.
Is it quick?
Well, yeah, about 2 to 3 hours they say, with the TV on in the background.
Yeah. But if you have a letting agent, you don't have to.
From what I understand, yes, that's what the lettings agent told me.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Dan and I were sort of, well, you mentioned it, and I was like, well, I know there's something, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And no nasty surprises in the legislation you didn't know about.
No, some interesting things though. It's like just to refresh my memory. Obviously, I'm not new to this, but I've been doing this for a couple of years, so obviously you're still learning new things. And if I'm being honest, I think they really should bring it into the rest of the UK because there are. Is that you really?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But no, cool. Yeah, would you just give us the tour? Talk us around what's been done in each room.
Yeah, sure.
Great,
so for the downstairs, the layout's pretty identical. What we have done is we've taken out the fireplaces. There was one here and one there, and again, it just makes it a slightly larger room. You could easily have your sort of dining room / TV maybe there or there. It depends how you do it. Nice
good.
White doors. I love these doors.
Yeah, we were saying they look really nice.
Look
Don't they?
really good. Coming through, we have the kitchen. Spotlights, always a go-to.
You've done a great job here.
Yeah, I mean you'll probably recognise it's a standard Howden's kitchen, but they all look great. They're not too expensive. I think this one cost $3,600.
Okay. Including everything.
Yes, everything. Yeah. Vinyl flooring again. Howden's just looks nice and it's pretty durable.
I was going to ask you about appliances.
Yeah.
Because everyone always asks me about appliances. Mm-hmm. What do I put in? What don't I? Mm-hmm. What do you like to put in?
In terms of white goods?
Yeah.
Okay, so
what's your thoughts?
It is a case by case. Because the rental demand is so strong here,
mm-hmm.
generally they say you don't need to provide white goods, so you don't need to provide your washing machine or your fridge, freezer, whatever. Also, some people might prefer to have like a dishwasher as well, so we just give them that choice. And then of course the benefits, as you know, is you don't have to maintain, you're not responsible for it, they can bring their own in. And generally it's nice for them to bring in these significant appliances and connect them because they're more likely to stay for the longer term.
Hang on, yeah, that's exactly, I guess, the same thing I do for the same reasons as well. So yeah, it's always something that I guess like a new investor will ask because I think it's just perception that maybe they've got to provide fridge, freezer, washing machine, dishwasher. Actually, really, it's just hob, cooker, extractor.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes there's a grey area, whereas is it furnished or unfurnished if there's a washing machine, fridge. A bit of a blurred area. I have properties which I have provided the fridge, freezer and washing machine. Other times I haven't. It's a case by case and your local estate agent will help provide you with that.
Something that has to be mentioned, obviously, is the view.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know obviously they say, what is it they say, facts, not feelings, is it? Or, so you're meant to, lead by the figures of the house and not emotions, but that definitely makes it a change to walking around Liverpool for me, so. Yeah,
100%. The valleys are beautiful. Obviously this is where we are now, this is a proper mining town, but since then it's really developed into a more family friendly, and these views just speak for themselves really.
Do many of the roads have views like that? Yeah,
because it's so hilly. Parking your car here is a nightmare. But one benefit of the hill is obviously you get such a nice view. Yeah, 100%. This is why it went off the market so quickly. This was on the market for 3 days and then tenancy agreed.
That's good, isn't it? Yeah. And just good working professional tenant.
Young couple. They both work in social care, which is great because I know that they need to be around Tony Pandy to for their job. So I know that they're here, and also it's a very secure. It's a very respect to them for that kind of job, and they're going to be here for the long term.
Good. In terms of numbers, if we could rattle through those, what did you pay for it?
60 grand.
60 grand, yeah? We like 60.
Yeah, so this is obviously Danny Craig was 61.5, this one's 60.
Yeah.
The refurb came at slightly more because of the windows.
Yes.
And also a bit of the damp treatment, etc. So in total, the refurb was £36,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So 96, and then including the land tax and legal fees and the building survey, it literally came to again 100 grand all in.
So you bought it cash.
Bought it again in cash for the funds I used from another refinance from Blackpool.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't want to take on a bridging loan because of the higher interest rates. Mm-hmm. Because I picked this up in May, when there was a bit of noise in the media about property, so I was like, let's just do a lower end house without a bridging loan, and I think I'm happy with that risk basically.
Yeah.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, or you matter what.
Okay, so one of the major parts of this refurb where we're going to add value is by making this from a 2-bed, which it was, into a 3-bed, and we had to get quite creative about how we did that because it wasn't the biggest room in the first place. So trying to explain the layouts, basically this was one large double bedroom.
Okay.
And the doorway was here and the banisters came to about here. So
this part here was actually there.
Back there, exactly. So I can't take credit for this one. This was the builder.
Right.
Literally, it was like, look, what I'll do is I'll build an extension to the landing, add it on. It looks seamless. You can't even notice.
No. I wouldn't have noticed.
Exactly. Yeah. And that gave us the ability to have like one entrance here, and then a second entrance for this bedroom down there.
That's brilliant.
And I'm not going to try and convince you this is a large bedroom. It's not. This is really a bedroom for maybe a young child, a cot, or perhaps more realistically, a small office.
Yep.
Or even a dressing room. There's so many ways you can use it. So
I think that's quite desirable though, like 2 good bedrooms with a study, or 2 good bedrooms with a baby's room. That's good.
Exactly. And the 2 to the 3 bed in this area, I think, adds about £10,000 in value.
And on the rent, what's that add?
The rent, maybe another £75 to £100 to the rental. That's on the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much an accurate guess. We literally stripped upstairs down to its bones, down to the walls, and that gave the builder a fresh canvas to build everything from scratch. The bathroom was a lot larger. It had a walk-in shower right here. So what we did is we brought this wall into here to give it a larger bedroom, and then we didn't need a walk-in shower because we've already got a bath in there. And as you'll see, it's a nice sized bathroom.
Yeah, it's still really good size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even with what you've done, so it must have been enormous before.
Yeah, it was a 2-bed, but just huge, and you just didn't need the walk-in shower.
Well, if we have a look in here quick, I know that all 3 bedrooms are fairly similar with what you've done, but I think it's just nice to show kind of condition that you've got it to, which is really nice and fresh. And
it's a slightly odd shape. I'm not sure if the camera can show us this, but you can pretty much fit a 3/4 here.
Yeah.
So just slightly bigger than a single, but not quite a double, I'd say. Maybe at a push, I don't know. But similar style window to the one in Danny Crag, which reminds me.
Yeah, they're so low, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, so different to what we used to. But
exactly.
I quite like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how much privacy you have, but not my problem. But that reminds me, one of the major expenses on this, I know we'll go into this in detail, is the windows. So I reckon we spent just shy of £5 grand on windows for the entire property, just to bring them up to double glazed.
Oh yeah.
Benefit of that is, obviously I intend to keep this for most of my days. Hopefully I've got a bit longer left, and new windows means it's going to be good for at least 20 years plus. Little things, you don't have to replace everything. This radiator was fine, we just cleaned it up a bit. It works. As long as the boiler works, which is like the heart of the house, and it's pumping everything through, then don't need to replace everything, and it looks fine.
So that's come from somewhere else, been repositioned here?
Yes, so this property, but I think it was around here or there, can't quite remember. Obviously this wall was, stud wall, which we built in to create the second bedroom.
Yep, good. So you're in it for about 100.
Yeah.
We know the refinance has come back on this one.
Yeah.
Talk us through that.
Yeah, so obviously we got it valued. We had one of the lenders' valuers came out. Lovely lady, showed her around, got chatting, and I said to her bluntly, can I hit 130 on this? And she was looking at the comparables on her tablet. She was like, yeah, that should be fine, it should be fine. So I'm thinking 130, brilliant. That's like that would have literally meant I had £2,500 left in on this deal. When the valuation happened a week later, I still hadn't had the mortgage deed. I was like, well, that's a bit weird. And then unfortunately, the lender had a second look at it and they were like, don't think we can give 130, so we're going to offer you 120. Still decent. Like, I'm still really happy with it, because that means on a 75% loan to value mortgage, it's 90 grand out, 100 grand spent, so that's 10 grand left in.
Yeah,
still really decent.
People be really happy with that, and I think you should be. And the worst case scenario, if you're not getting 130s, you just tied up your money for a bit longer. It's not like you lost money, you just tied it up for longer.
Yeah.
And if anything, the positive probably means your mortgage payments come down, so your profit's gone up per month.
Yeah. So that's the silver lining. Cash flow is slightly better. So the mortgage on this is again similar to Danny Craig. I think it's about 420, 425.
Okay, yeah.
And this has already been let out, $750 a month. Tenants move in 2 weeks. So again, that's about £300 per month, which I'm really happy with. Currently going to manage this myself because it's a new build. You shouldn't have many major issues. But again, if I do, then my build is really good. I can easily sort it out. And so obviously slightly disappointed to get 120 instead of 130, but I think overall it's still really good. Benefits, like you said, is smaller mortgage and also a smaller mortgage fee. So without getting into the nitty gritty, obviously lenders love to slap on a nice 2-3% arrangement fee. That's now less. I got it on a 5-year. Again, I was just looking at the current market. I wanted 5 years for the property to go through the cycle. I mean, obviously in 5 years' time, I'm confident that it would have appreciated significantly. Yeah, and can pull a lot more out.
Hopefully rates are down, and then then it'd be really come into itself, wouldn't it?
Exactly. I love this bathroom. So we're on the final few snags of the house. We did spot a slight leak in the roof, and that can cause a problem. So we have put a new felt roof in just to cover the patch. Yep. And then we're just repainting this. It's just had its first coat. We'll sand it down and paint. Can happen even when you finish the full refurb. Something can still leak through because it was a really rough house before, and this is just one of those examples.
So that's probably just where there's like sitting water, or it's managed to get through and sit for a bit, and then it's obviously come through.
Exactly.
Now you fix that. So
exactly, but apart from that very basic bathroom, spent about £600 for the toilet, sink, and taps. I love these black taps.
I've got that at home.
Oh, so nice. Premium finish. I think I'll give it a little bit different. I love this black radiator.
Yeah, I even think the actual sink you've gone for is nice. The actual suite you've used, because obviously you can get much cheaper ones, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we're talking, maybe like £100 more for a much better sink. Again, I'm estimating there, but
it's far better though.
Yeah, exactly. I just like it's got that
quality look.
Exactly, and the appeal.
Yeah.
And when you eventually look at the shower and the bath, I love this style as well. Yeah. And whilst obviously you shouldn't really get emotionally attached to your business properties, at the end of the day you still want it to appeal to someone. And so I literally build them how I want them to appear, and without breaking the bank. I think it's a combination of like be proud of what you're providing, get the right end value, and try and keep it cost effective. It's that constant balance, isn't it? Exactly. And I know that if it's done to a good spec, then it's going to be off the rental market in no time at all, which in this case it was. Another big thing was the time scale. So we picked up the keys May, and we got it valued August 15th, so that was literally 3 months. We're now mid-September, so we're almost to where the tenant's coming in, and it's just finishing up everything. So 4 months in total, 3 months refurb, 4 months to get everything set up, and for me that's a pretty good timeline. And on to the next one. So no, I think generally speaking, it's nice to see the two different stages. Yeah. So you got that one halfway through, this one completely finished. I think you've done a superb job on the finish. I think it's great for someone to move into and something to manage. It'd be very low maintenance, which is good. Well, fingers crossed. 100%. I mean, when you eventually see the one that you saw today, mid refurb, when that's finished, it's gonna feel like deja vu. I think it's going to be quite similar. Same recipe, because it's just a winner. Like, you're not spending too much, but it's still going to add that value. And then I'm not sure if you want to talk about this, but also we have other investors looking at this area, and it's going to be a very similar pattern. Yeah, could sort of rinse and repeat now that you've got. I think this leads us on to a good topic really, which is the builder side of things. Now might be a good time to say if anything went wrong during the build, or would you say it was quite a smooth one? And if so,
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, I mean, so I've done a fair few projects now, but this was the first time working with this builder in South Wales, and by far the best builder I've ever worked with. And this is not me like blowing smoke up his arse. If he watches this, he's going to be blushing. But no, he was brilliant from the start. Stuck to the structure.
Yeah.
I paid him on time, etc., which you should always do if you're doing a good job. Came up with innovative ideas such as the bedroom and the landing.
It's a really good one.
Exactly. Yeah. His big part of it was his workers, his labour, all work for him. They're not all subcontractors, which is another big plus. Really struggling to think of anything, any criticism or feedback, which is so rare.
Which I feel like is a good sign. If
which is a great sign.
If you can't think of your issues, you're okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, exactly, yeah. No, I think I'd be harsh to say to do it quicker because you did it at such a good speed.
Yes.
I have nothing bad to say about this builder.
It's good. And how did you find him?
How did I find him? I mean, it's a cop-out answer, but it's through networking.
So he's in, and when you say networking, for someone who's like, what do you mean by that? It's like you're going to events, talking to people that invest in this area. So this one was actually just another investor I know who invests in this area, and he just referred me to this builder and said, you've got to use this guy. Which is, brilliant. I think, honestly one of the best ways of finding good people.
It's word of mouth, but just to add a bit more onto that, obviously we said events and stuff, that is obviously a great way of doing it. One of the niche ways, I don't know what you think of this, but Facebook can be really good at finding builders.
Yeah.
Because that is more or less word of mouth, because you've got your average Joe or your average Facebook user of a certain demographic that like to write lots of feedback if they've got nothing else to do. Yeah. That's a great way to find builders, and I've found some good ones in the past by doing that.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I tend to have gone down the same route that you have. Like when I'm in Liverpool and Yorkshire, it's always been find someone, or I know someone in the area that's doing the projects, kind of meet them at their projects, go through them, kind of like we have today.
Yeah.
And then you get a real feel for the quality of work. I can ask you what you actually think. And that's how I met the builder. Certainly with Liverpool, my first ones was through a friend, Ollie, up there. I was like, who are you using? Who's good, who's not good? And did certainly kiss a few frogs along the way, but managed to find a really good one in the end. So, then you kind of stick with them as long as they are good.
That's the good point. So right now I am paying him on time whenever he wants. I don't even question it. I take him to lunch whenever I come down here. Little things like that, because it just shows that you care.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, right, this is my next project, and I've even offered to do a JV with him as well, and he's keen for that.
So that's a very good idea.
I just know then, obviously, that we're going to keep working together.
Yeah.
And if you find a good builder, just tie them down, because they are so hard to keep hold of. Because other investors will see what you have and they'll want a piece of that.
Yes, as I'm sure they will ask following this video.
I'm not saying.
So there we have it, 2 brilliant properties, 2 brilliant deals where barely any money is being left in after refinance. I currently don't have any properties in South Wales, but I'm certainly more tempted after seeing Matt's deals today. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I hope it's been a useful watch, and as always, I will see you in next week's video.